it's me. Okay, so here's my dwarf story. Yeah, so like they will fight if when they get gelded, they're not happy about it, even if they're young. But when they're super old, they get like super mean about it, and they'll like beat the shit out of your dwarves. And this is my dwarf story. This is my first fortress. I'm still playing it, by the way, because I'm just that awesome. It's like 5 years. Also, but there's this like really grumpy guy, and he got tasked with gelding a adult male horse. And I didn't think anything of it. I just didn't want any more horses. I had too many, and like I still have too many animals on my surface, and they lag my whole fucking game. Anyway, so I went to go geld the horse, and the cranky old dwarf did it, and then the horse kicked in the the horse kicked in the dwarf's head, and he almost died, and he had to go to the hospital, and he was in the hospital for like a whole year, like a literal dwarf year. Yeah, he was in a coma, and when he woke up, he was very angry. And even now, like multiple years since he had gotten out of the coma, he relives his trauma of getting his head kicked in by the horse, and he gets super mad. Like, he's just the worst. And just to make him happy, I gave him like the second biggest like bedroom that's like super fancy. I tried to make him a warrior so he could get his anger out, because that was like one of his unmet needs. He still doesn't care, he just hates all these things. And then at one point, I gave him a war dog, hoping it would make him happy, because he's just like cranky and he has no family and all this shit. So I gave him a dog, thinking like, oh, you know, he'll like form a bond with the dog and they'll like work together.
Like a service.
Yeah, service animal, like therapy dog or whatever. And then they went out hunting. Shut up. They went out hunting. There was a mountain lion near my place, and I didn't want it to get too close because I have way too many animals. And so I made him go out there and kill the mountain lion, and he did that just fine. And then he got home, and then out of nowhere, there was the like message popping up being like, the war dog has died. And it was like, what the? I don't even know. Like, how that happened, I don't know. He might have like ran off and died or something, fell down a cliff. I mean, you never know. But yeah, so this guy's just like the worst luck in the world. Like, and he's just always pissed. Like, that's my story. My dwarf story. I have multiple dwarf story. Like what?
What story do you have?
Oh, my gathering story. So I don't know if this is like just this one, because I haven't played the older dwarf fortress, but I started off and I was like really scared, and I wanted to make sure that like they all had food and yada yada. And so I make everyone gather all the fruit in the area, because I like made my embark at a like super fancy forest that was like full of food, all the good stuff.
It was all.
It was full of food. There was like the watermelons on the ground and like the bushes everywhere, cherries, yada yada, like trees out the ass. And then like I was like ignoring that after doing like a designated gathering area. Everybody can do this, yada yada. And then I'm like moving around in my fortress, like making new areas, because this was like the beginning kinda. And then I was like, man, nothing's happening. Where is everyone? It looked like a fucking ghost town in the like fortress. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then like it was saying that like a job was canceling because someone was scared of being on a stepladder. And I'm like, why the fuck is some random dwarf on a stepladder when there's tons of things that you guys need to be doing, like mining, yada yada. And then I go to the surface and it lags because there's like 50 million dwarves and 50 million animals, and they're all gathered in one specific spot up on the surface, messing with the stepladder, trying to get berries from a fucking tree. All of the dwarves, all of them. Like, the kids were out, like, you know, playing make-believe and all that. So it's like, okay, they're fair. They didn't try and, like, gather. But the rest of them have no fucking excuse. Like, just because it says everybody does this doesn't mean everybody literally stop everything and do this. It was so frustrating. That's my story. Another story.
You asking me?
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Oh, the werehorse? Yes, he did. Okay. I think this is my last story. Because I can't think of them off the top of my head, like, and I'm like losing. But so, like, my first fortress, the one I've been talking about this whole time, these are all connected stories because it's the same fortress. You should tell your story about the vampire. That was so fucking cool. Okay, anyway. No, oh my god, I have 2 stories before I stop. Okay. I'll start with the werehorse. Okay. So, I'm like barely getting started on my fortress. I'm like, you know, I'm just like getting all of the goodies like laid out. Like, I've got all my like homes, like the bedrooms and all the workshops, yada yada. Like, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm still not doing anything. I'm scared. But all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you'll know why you fear the night or whatever, because like the werehorse comes out of nowhere, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And I tried my best to close the drawbridge immediately, and a little kid snuck out. I didn't tell him to do that. I didn't think about the burrow thing. Like, I didn't know that was a thing yet. So a little kid got out, and a fighter guy got out. Yeah, like one of my warrior dwarfs got out. Like, he didn't make it back in time, and so he was like, I'm gonna fucking deal with this shit. And the little kid was like, oh, me too. And all the animals were like, me too. And so it was just a fucking bloodbath. And the kid got killed, like, almost immediately. And then the warrior dwarf, who was actually, like, a big deal in the fortress, because he was, like, already a legendary boyar. Remember that one?
yeah.
So, yeah. He tried his best, and he tried to fight. Nobody killed the werehorse. He just ran away after transforming into an elf. But oh my god, that kid was obliterated. He like barely made it anywhere, and he didn't do anything to the werehorse, of course. And then the warrior dwarf, they fought a lot, like all across the like entrance of the fortress. And he got his blood everywhere, and it's still there. Of course it is. And he died in a pit for some reason. Like, they, for some reason, started, yeah, in a water. Like, it was a pit, and then there was water in the pit. They both went down into the pit for some fucking reason and had, like, a final showdown. And, of course, the werehorse won. So, like, forever. It took me forever to, like, make a channel to, like, get down in there without like drowning in the water for some reason. But he had his like corpse kind of like outside the entrance of the fortress for a really long time, because I could like see him going 1 level down. You just see like water and skeleton and clothes. And for some reason, after they fetched out his corpse, which was just skeleton at that point, they left behind a sock and something else, and it's bugging me, and I'm like, why won't you go get the fucking sock? Like, just throw it away or something. Just get it, because I can still see it, like, in the puddle. So that's my other story. Oh, okay, and then this is my last story. Like, this is super important. So, I made the tavern out of my gigantic dining hall And I can attest with evidence from Drawley Walnuts, as they're called. He's seen my dining hall. It's huge. And it's beautiful. And of course everybody wants to go there. So I had to close it down because there's just too many fucking people. But this was the first instance of a like drama. Was I opened the tavern and then all these goblins, a goblin troop came in. And this was like, we both were like mystified in the beginning about this whole tavern thing because like literally anybody and everybody can come in there and they're all friendly, but it's like there's species that are normally like, you gotta be on your dwarf guard or else you're gonna be scared that they're gonna cause problems. Well, guess what? The goblin troop was pretty nice, except one fucking goblin would not fucking leave. It was like seasons, this one fucking goblin kept staying in the tavern. He wouldn't leave, and then he got so drunk he knocked over all the jugs of wine and ale. And then he got in a fight with a lady and her cat. So he fought a cat. And then the cat went to go file a justice report. Yeah, it was like literally like everybody out in the tavern went all the way out to the captain of the guard to be like, I'm filing a report because a goblin fought a lady and a cat. It was very important. But I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't follow through and like actually beat the shit out of this goblin for being annoying, which I wish I would have done. And that's like a super important story because you shouldn't leave your tavern open all the time because annoying people will come in and never leave. You never know. It might happen to you. And also, people steal shit if you put it in the tavern. So don't put things in the tavern. It's not worth it. And I'm gonna take those fucking pedestals down when I get back to my game someday. Because someone stole my earrings that somebody made when they were in a fey mood. And they were the like most amazing earrings in the whole wide world. Now they're gone and I still can't find them. Because my captain of the guard sucks ass at interrogating people and nothing came of it. Like, yeah, he beat somebody up and he put somebody else in a cage, but nothing came of it. Like, I didn't get back my earrings, nothing. And I have a crossbow out that somebody made in a fey mood, and who knows, maybe they'll steal that too. So I gotta worry about that. They're important things to think about. And these are my stories. Now you have to tell them about the vampire story.
All right, vampire story time. Hope y'all are ready. It's not much of a story, is it?
Oh my god, what? There's so much to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, like, the story's not concluded. So, I mean, okay. So here's the story. Picture it. Look at these giraffes. Look at these giraffes and listen to this story. Picture it. It's a fortress. I think just a couple of years into the making. And I get a report. It says, somebody's been drained of all their blood. And it was a dwarven child. In their bed. Drained. 100%. Completely drained. No blood left. I was like, what the heck? Who would drain the blood? Oh, it'd be a vampire, right? That makes sense. Okay, so we have a vampire. I already had a justice system set up, and I was like, oh, we'll interrogate, I guess, who's around. I paused the game almost immediately. It couldn't have been like a half second, 1 full second after I got the report. So I'm looking at whoever's nearby. There's like, I can't remember. There's like 3 or 4 people. There was like 2 people right next to where the kid was found. But then there was like a couple of people further away. It's like a mother and her baby. I think like a random guy. I don't remember. So I interrogate all of them, including the baby. Because you never know. No information. I was like, well, fuck. I don't know what to do. Can't do anything. Like, he'll strike again, right? So, some time goes by. Maybe like a season, I think. And then another one. Drained of all their blood. In their bed again. This time not a baby, not a child. It was like a grown dwarf. And still couldn't figure out who did it. Interrogated all the people nearby. No clues. Nobody even has an idea. So Bede, my wife, who was just speaking, and I were looking through the unit list. Do these giraffes have horns? They have little nubby horns? I didn't know that. I thought they just had little ears. They had the little, like, funny ears. But that's not... What the heck? Okay, anyways. We're looking through the unit list trying to figure out what's going on. And I was like, well, maybe... I think maybe I was like going through them one at a time trying to see like how old they were or like their thoughts or something. Well, it turns out vampires, if you're looking at the unit list, they kind of look like ghouls. And Bede was like, what is wrong with that one? He's like pale. He's got like
a vampire.
Girl. He had white hair. He was like blue skinned. He couldn't have looked any more vampire. And so we're like, what? Hold on, let's click this guy. And we look at his thoughts. And it was like, felt nothing recently seeing, you know, like whatever, baby corpse. Felt nothing recently seeing corpse of other guy.
Like, it was literally the one.
Yes. And we were like, oh my God, what was he doing? He wasn't near the bodies when they were discovered. What is he doing looking at them and seeing them? And so we interrogate him for both crimes. And I think he like didn't say anything about one, but he said he confessed for the other. So the sheriff or whatever he is put him in a cage in my dungeon. And so I have in my main fort, I have a vampire in a cage that's going to be in a cage for like 2 years. And I'm really confused because he murdered 2 people. Shouldn't he be like put to death? Well, anyways, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with him. And I have a couple ideas. One idea is, I'm not sure if you can, but hopefully there's some way I can do this. But my idea is to put him outside. I've been frequently getting sieged by zombies. So I was going to put him outside and like, maybe like a lever to release him. Like Jurassic Park will release the vampire dwarf onto all the zombies. That's my idea. That's like one of my ideas. I think that's my best idea. What other ideas were there? Yeah, just killing him. That's not a great idea. Maybe I should put him like, I'll release him into the caverns or something. I should like make him fight something. Fight the I have like a legendary or forgotten beast in the caverns underneath my fortress. So maybe he can go fight those guys. Be productive. Go fight a poisonous crocodile. I think that's all of our stories. All of the Dwarf Fortress stories.